were they trying to create a future sequel to this?
It was no Final Destination kind of movie. Yeah, the poster actually says from the creator of Final Destination.
Yeah.
But it didn't work.
What I had found one place, but I could not confirm that is true. It was done for around 700 to 800,000, but I couldn't find anybody else that showed that to confirm it.
So there were elements about this that led me, clearly I could clearly see it was a small budget movie.
We've got a movie. It's called Headgame that was done in 2017. Is that correct? 2017 or 2018?
2018.
2018. Thank you very much. It was director Stephen Judd and writer Roberto Marinas. So, your thoughts?
You could definitely tell it's a low budget movie, and some of the elements that lead you to it's also practically limited sets. And the big maze that they're all going through, it's a very Saw escape room combination kind of movie is the impression that I got. There are a lot of wooden pallets used to build a maze, clearly.
Yep.
Being clever in reducing, any kind of sets that they needed to build. It's in a warehouse. There are some house scenes built into it. And, the basic concept behind it is not unusual, I would say. It's something that we've seen before.
Yes.
It kind of reminded me of Hostel and the direction that the movie went.
Yeah.
Some of the movie reminded me of a lot of Hostel too. That's the kind of vibe I got. That's the type of story it was. But this is not Hostel level of brutality, which is good and bad. And it didn't have the same kind of story punch and shock that Hostel did either. So I'm a little mixed bag on this. I would probably say I enjoyed it watching it once. I'm not yet really sure that I'd recommend it to others. So what do you think?
So I like the premise of this film and the idea that a bunch of, it's the same old escape room, teenagers locked into a room. They all have to escape. There are a million of them, but this is the first one I've seen where they actually embed the camera into the forehead, right? And if they try to rip it off, there's like an acid tablet that burns your face off if you try to remove it. So I thought that was very interesting. I really did. And that's where the interest for me went away, because then it just became a Saw, it just became an escape room. It just became everybody, fighting against everybody else. And then you get the clique of people who are going to fight the other clique of people. And they're all trying to, do the right thing while this group is doing the wrong thing. And there was this, I don't want to give this away in case there's anybody out there who's going to, I'm not going to say in case, there's going to be plenty of people out there who go out and watch this film, right? But it's definitely set up. They were hoping to franchise this, Cynthia. Would you agree with that, with the ending?
Yeah, absolutely. And there were some twist elements, along with another cliche, which is there are people betting on the outcome of this.
Yes.
We've seen that happen on more than one occasion. And the twist is the fact that the bet goes both directions, that the damage that the loser picks up is not slight. And
yes.
They're incented, the bettors are incented to have their own picks win. So that was a little bit different. So yeah, I agree with you. It had potential. The concept of potential, but the execution came off very generic and unimaginative Saw / escape room. And I understand this is a low budget movie and been limited from that perspective, but the creativity was not there at the same level of the first escape room movie that we saw, or even the punch of Saw, which was also a relatively low budget movie when it first came out. So
Cynthia, what I would say is I actually think the creativity was there. The idea, with the camera in your forehead and everything, I just don't think they executed it well. I don't think that there was that draw to get me to follow through that. And the other thing is, it was another one of those movies that was the whole feeling, it's a rich against the poor, right? So it's, it's us against them. It's wealthy against poor, and wealthy can do anything they want to anybody they want. And, that whole synopsis of, my daddy's wealthy, so I can put all these people in a room and do this, which leads to this ending, which is a very strange ending that, to me, I don't understand why it was going there, other than you're going to do a franchise with it. You want to do a franchise with it. But, if a sequel came out to this, it's not like I would run to the theater or actually rent this. I mean, the direction didn't go as smoothly as I would like it to go, right? It really was just killing for killing's sake. And that's about it. We don't even know who these characters are, right? So Cynthia, that's another thing you and I have talked about a lot about. if you have no character build up, if you don't know who a character is, you don't know what their past is, you don't have any feelings for them, why do you care if they're dead?
Yeah, you're not emotionally invested in the characters, and you have a good point. You're right. The concept is an interesting one. The execution is what didn't really pay off. It's very much for money of the Squid Game, except there's no payoff. What do you get out of surviving this? What's your incentive? Obviously, the will to live is
Yeah,
a pretty strong incentive, and that's what's driving all the participants. But there's no big payoff. The payoff is kind of weird, actually.
yeah,
The reward is a bit off, and they don't really explain why the hostile style of flip of the survivor at the end. That's not explained really well either. In Hostile, she's trying to survive, so she turns
right.
the tables. That is not quite the case here.
No, it's not. And so I guess for my final thing here, Simple, what I would say is it's what I'm going to tell everybody is it. There are some really cool ideas in there. There's some gore that I think for people who are big horror kind of gore fans, there's some gore moments. The whole idea of the, basically this camera being implanted on your head, I thought that was inventive. And so, watch it for that. But I don't think, you're not gonna leave this going, hey, this is an incredible horror film. You're going to leave it going, yeah, I've seen this plot about 100 times. And so here we're just carrying this through again.
Yeah, and I did get some other things out of it. The warehouse scenes, as we're aspiring filmmakers. I saw they could create this potentially complex appearing maze.
Yes.
In reality, there are very limited actual locations that they use,
Yeah.
and it's camera angles and camera perspectives. So that was interesting and something that I think we can take away. We talked about this. How do you make a movie when there are limited sets and limited budget? And some of what they pulled off in this is great, but I don't know that I would recommend this either. It's I think the best for me too.
Yep. I would agree with you. Synthel, as always, it's been a pleasure talking with you. I look forward to our next talk.